Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Sonny. So if you are new here, consider subscribing because this is a very active channel and I know you're going to get some real value from it. If this is your first time meeting me, I'm Sonny Harrell and I've spent the last 15 years working in more than a dozen professional kitchens all around the world. And here on this channel, I share all the tips, all the tricks, all the amazing recipes, the methods, the techniques. I'm giving it all back to you. Let's dive in. So today we're doing another episode of Back to Basics. Back to Basics is going to be part of a series where we go over simple things like cutting fruit, cutting vegetables, sharpening knives, the tools I use, the techniques. All of these things and much more are going to be covered in Back to Basics. It's going to give you the information you need to build a strong foundation from the ground up in regards to your culinary life. And today I'm showing you how to cut eggplant. Or as I like to call it, as I lived in England, aubergine. Much better name if you ask me. You may not even have a chef's knife yet. I've got you covered. In the description box below this video, I'm going to link up a few knives at different price points. They're all brands that I know and that I trust. I would recommend clicking on one of those links. It'll take you over to Amazon, read other people's reviews, and see if it's the right knife for you. And I wouldn't put anything down there that I wouldn't buy myself, so you know that these brands are trusted. Something to note here before we actually even slice these eggplant is that you could roast the whole thing over a fire. Like if you were doing a baba ganoush, you would cook this whole thing blister black on a grill, on a flame, any kind of open flame will do, and then you would scoop out the flesh. So before we slice it, I just wanted to show you that because that is also a possibility. So you kind of want to peel this top off first things. You can just take it up like that so it's not in the way. Or take it off completely too. So we have that. So the most common way, so if you're making like an eggplant parmesan, I'm just gonna take that little tail off. You know, you wanna slice it probably about that thick because you gotta account for shrinkage when you're working with eggplant. It's gonna shrink by almost like half. So that would be the first way, is to do these large round slices for like an eggplant parmesan. You end up with something like that. Then maybe you want to do something with more layers, so you want to go a little thinner. So we could do these little like 1/3 inchers, like this. If you're making some kind of stacked eggplant dish, this could be a good size for something like that, just a little bit thinner. Then another very common way you would see, again, we're going to take that top off. We don't want to take off more than we need, right? Just enough. And you would see a lot of people doing it like this, into these big slices, which you could then use to grill or just cook whole in a pan. That's a great way to do it. So you end up with something like this. Or we could do a big dice. Just cut through. Put across lengthways. And just start cutting nice square pieces. So you end up with something like this. Let's do a quick review. There we have the big rounds. That would be for like an eggplant parmesan. We have the smaller, thinner rounds. That would be better for like a stacked, layered eggplant dish. We have our like steaks, if you will, which would be great for just grilling or pan frying. We have the large dice, you know, you could do any kind of variation with this. And then we have a bit of a smaller dice here, sort of a medium dice. And one more thing about eggplant, I won't be cooking it here, but when I do cook eggplant, you want to season this, salt it, and leave it in a colander to drain for about 20 minutes. The salt will begin to pull some of the moisture from the eggplant and season it at the same time. Then you want to pat it dry with a paper towel and then start cooking with it. It doesn't matter what preparation you're doing, salting it, draining it, and drying it is a must. It pulls out some of the bitters as well as seasons the eggplant. That concludes today's Back to Basics on slicing eggplant. I hope you got some value from this, and if you haven't already yet, consider subscribing for future videos just like this one, and I will see you next time.